What's going on, guilty guys and gals? Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney.
Last time we were talking about Mr. Garadeb's rebuttal, apparently.
I still got allergies going on, so my voice might be a little wacky, but it should be mostly okay. Apparently, they are doing a Pokemon Presents today. So I'm going to be having a video on that, probably recording. I don't think I'm going to stream at 6 a.m., which is when it premieres over here. But I'll have a video on it for sure. So keep an eye out for that. All right, let's go.
What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd notice if one of two went missing, I'm afraid.
Oh, right, I just found the thing in his pipe. That's right. I remember now.
Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carving, you see. Pipes and whatnot. Fishing tackle, you know, that sort of thing.
It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too, and then there's my leather work.
Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the place, and we have dozens of the things.
They sell them on the market sometimes, 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at mealtime too, instead of a knife and fork.
Okay. Now, Joan, we didn't want people thinking I'm some kind of savage.
Here we go again with the scaldings. Why are they being so evasive?
I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim.
Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still.
Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir!
Alright. So where the heck am I putting that?
I have a job proving it all, I think.
So what do I present here? Because I'm pretty low on hit points. I guess I'll press it. I might as well press it just in case the thing I have to present is actually one of those, you know. So, you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can provide proof. Even though there's no other credible possibility of Mr. Natsume is innocent.
You do not know Natsume is innocent, fool. You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack.
As if I could forget. If there was only some way to know who had handled the knife. But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. Yeah, who knows about fingerprints?
Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo.
What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists?
Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin. Or so they say.
But I can't see anything.
There's already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice.
Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
Emma Sky has entered the chat.
But for now, we'll have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife was found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house.
If only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future. That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony.
But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident.
Yes, I know.
I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that if it is in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury.
If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us, explain everything.
Yes, it would.
So, for Saseki-san's sake, we must find that last crucial piece of evidence. Pipe.
Oh, the wife and I,
Oh, no, I didn't mean to do this. Okay, hold B. Hold B, hold B, hold B, hold B, hold B. Okay. I didn't mean to do that. I just meant to go to the next one. Nope, not that one. Yep. It must be this. It must be this. I just wanted to make sure. No. I think it would be the knife first, right? And then the piece is missing? No.
I'm afraid not.
Okay. Is it this one then? Let's just make sure I've checked the knife to see that it's missing its point. Because I know it was. I think they talked about it in a testimony, but...
Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing.
You're right. Well spotted, Miss Sasato.
I wonder what could have happened to it.
Yes, you don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you?
Oh dear, I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful.
Alright. Okay, it doesn't say anything about that. Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yeah, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake. Like a gallon of tea comes out. What's this?
It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
The tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. Oh, okay. You have to actually get that. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. Mr. Garadeb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
you can ask, but I can't see a bully thing.
You can't?
Used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now.
Sounds like you need glasses, man.
Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word.
You must... oh, God. You must D very dussy. Never say that again.
What is that? A tiny scrap of metal?
Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to just be a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence.
You've lost me. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
My pipe, you say?
That's not the right voice, that's the judge.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, wonder how that got there.
And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
I'm not sure what that was.
I am.
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of the case, my lord. Oh, his poor clothes are burned. Jeez.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well, then. Present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Okay. Nope, don't investigate. Present. It's the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a small piece of the tip of the blade that is missing.
A common issue with inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones.
And what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
No, that's not the case.
Huh?
The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
Oh! Ooh!
He looked like he'd been shot or something, you know?
Good grief, Lord Van Zykes, have you been shot?
Or maybe staked.
I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match.
Good golly gosh, oh my.
They gave her a box to stand on, too. Just like, what's her name? Sister Bikini. Oh, dear, Judge. Okay.
Is this some kind of Eastern sorcery?
Yes, totally. Yep. Uh-huh. Stop looking at me like that.
This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
A miracle?
So Van Zykes has figured it out, has he?
Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once.
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, I came that close to your face, man. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garadeb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garadeb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time.
Which caused the tip to break off, of course.
Good lord.
Yes, and that's when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1.
And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garadeb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the street below.
Oh gosh, oh dear, oh. No!
Okay.
I've poured myself a glass of wine for this occasion. I didn't drink it very good. It's all over my chin. A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument.
What does that mean? Sorry?
But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle I fear is yet corked. Because you see, it's spoilt by an insurmountable inconsistency.
Is it the miraculous thing of the knife flying out the... What?
Lord Van Zykes, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified?
An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with the knife planted in the middle of her back.
Yeah, she was bent over to pick up the book. The book? Oh no, Mr. Garadeb! Oh, poor guy.
That's right, you silly little man.
Now, Joan, old thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, it would have exploded like that. There's no possible way it could have planted itself into her back.
Well, thank goodness it didn't plant itself in her skull. That would be much less survivable.
Order. Quite right, you see. That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head.
Well,
He's lost for words, look.
I knew it. I never liked his theory in the first place.
I don't know, though. What really did happen?
It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder.
If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand.
okay, what's your theory, then? I don't think you even said it.
Well, the Japanese man stabbed her.
Yeah, but, like, how? I've constructed, like, a whole scene. You haven't constructed anything.
It doesn't matter. Your theory, my learned friend, is history.
Okay, well,
We were so close. I could see the truth.
yeah, I wonder what happened.
I was so sure we were on the right track. But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or, in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand. Miss Sasato. You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. The answer is pretty obvious. You were just caught off guard, that's all. Your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed.
Really? You're gonna make a pun?
She's not dead.
Why are we still like this?
This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind
Now that's a pun.
and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is.
What are you implying?
Counsel, what are you implying?
There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife fell how a knife falling from above could have pierced the victim's back in such a way. We already have the answer.
Goodness.
Utter madness.
Surely this must be the last time. Surely. Oh. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak.
Yes, sir. This is the last inconsistency, the final piece of the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is the knife!
No, it's the book.
This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is our answer. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present.
The burnt book.
Is that not Mr. Garadeb's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. The photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand.
But as we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that.
Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand?
Oh, well, sir, I didn't think I'd be back, honestly. It's because of how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. Yes, sir. Now I've got it, but she's already gone. God damn it.
In other words, the victim already picked up the book of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything.
Well, she would have been bleeding. The question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By jingo!
What?
I think I'm beginning to see what might have happened now. I gotta forget this guy's voice back. I don't know what's going on with it. I guess this is what we're doing now.
I don't know.
Oh, dearie me.
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garadeb household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past.
Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when, all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
The book I threw.
Yes, Mrs. Garadeb. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? I don't know, look up?
Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up.
Yes, that's exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh, heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick that fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over to pick up the book, she Family Guy death posed. The next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And, at the same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Well, I never.
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Why does he keep doing this pose? It's so weird.
And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker.
So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case.
Are we going to jail?
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb?
What do you want me to say?
The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There, old bean.
Don't call me a bean.
Poor Mrs. Garadeb.
Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book, and I threw that knife as well. John, dear.
That's a brand of tractors, dear. It's all right, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry.
I just broke my best teapot. Oh. Oh, my knee. Oh, I'm gonna die. Yep, I'm gonna die. Here I go. Yep.
Well, at least this charming pirate shanty is still playing. Why did it say... Da, 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 da. Lord Van Zykes, what news of Mrs. Carradale?
She just passed out on the floor, my lord. Did you not see it? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events left her in an especially flustered state. Typical woman.
Okay.
However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Only some minor burns from the puddle of tea she left on the floor that she then fell into.
Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could have easily been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just got word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
How wonderful. That woman is out of danger, it seems.
Yes, that is good news.
She's about to die, isn't she?
So, Mr. Soseki Natsume?
Oh, it's been so long since I've been on screen. I kind of forget my voice. Yes.
On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
I'm not guilty, right? No, it's me who should be begging your pardon.
No, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, that evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too.
I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless.
It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. There sure are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me.
Poor Setseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
So, when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry.
Okay, well.
One could indeed say some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But, thanks to Lord Van Zykes, our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken, and the spirit exorcised.
I thought there was going to be a third member of that team, like, I don't know, the jury or something, but kind of made it sound like Lord Van Zykes was the... It made it sound like he was the attorney from the east, whatever. You know.
I heartily commend you both.
Oh.
Oh.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, my lord?
In concluding this trial, I ask one last time for your decision regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
I think I'll vote guilty, sir, because I'm racist.
Anyway,
As foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Garrett.
Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know, but I think I know what her decision would be. Does this mean I finally get to be able to get out of here and start work? It's about time.
Yeah, I see. I have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I?
Okay.
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Okay, that's a...
Not guilty.
Excellent. Okay, well.
I request whatever examination.
Very well. Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty.
Yay!
There are confetti. Why are they lighting fireworks in an enclosed building?
And finally, Mr. Natsume,
Yes, Lord, sir.
you are now a free man once more. It is my hope you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me.
Yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. Transported 2 tears.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
Tonk. Excellent. I like how they have 2 bailiffs and one. The only difference is one of them has a mustache. It's very funny.
Oh, Locum.
I forgot you called me that. Wait, you mean me?
Of course. Is there another Locum here?
Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name?
Oh,
Oh, at last, I'm free. Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation. Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
oh, I'm so pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Would it be so hard to just say that then?
Locum, you did it. You saved me from the brink.
Well, what happened to the poor woman who was in... what happened to that poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now.
No, 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 not that. Lovely, loyal Locum lawyer.
Yes?
I mean, as I said before, I've just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners, I see towering brick buildings,
I'd imagine.
and from high up windows, I see them looking down on me laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
Well, mostly anyway.
But today, you, Locum lawyer, gave me my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount for my old friends back in Japan.
An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Is this Herlock?
Ah, there you are, my dear fellows.
Yeah, yes it is.
I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
See, I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
I do not remember what voice I gave him. I'm gonna have to look, but I feel like it was
Something like this, you know? Something of a little bit, classier sort of sound, you know?
Oh,
The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck.
It's just finished.
What? No! Then my haste was in vain. It's you! Herlock Sholmes!
Oh, have we met, sir? No, actually, it was something like this. That's what it was, yes. Ah, yes, I remember now. Something a little lighter, but also still sort of high-class sounding, you know?
this is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters had taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming.
This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
My apologies, good sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. Except for me, the fabulous Herlock Sholmes. I'm sorry.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir?
Well, now you've just got it. Doused my spirits. Nothing.
Priceless. Oh, I'm so sorry, really. But that was quite priceless. Poor Saseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And, it would seem, you were not even found guilty.
But there's no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits, and now by the Reaper.
Oh, Lord Van Zykes.
I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing a man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
It'll be all right, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I'll protect you. Hi-ya!
You could have at least thrown Herlock. God.
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato.
Oh, you like being turned on your head? I'll do it more often then.
So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan.
I met a fear. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh,
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honoured with the tutelage of professors. I've learnt so much about the wealth of literature here, and the city it has shaped, and I've come to realize it's my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
that's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read. Well, I guess, and what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot? Why would we?
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London, and only now does it feel as though we finally have found our feet.
Well, where did you lose your feet? I'm sorry. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights until our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh, the windowless room?
But what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, ceiling, and walls.
Great.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
We'll think about it, if that's all right. Is his room filled with gas? Because isn't that where the frickin'... Doesn't he have, like, a pump in his room with, like, gas for heat? Oh, no. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. She is 5 years old, you know. She is quite capable. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of?
Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words. So, suggesting we look elsewhere is out of the question, then.
Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you, and also yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take too long.
I don't think I've ever heard you say shan't. Somebody's happy.
Welcome. I knew you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you, too. It's a shame we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again someday.
Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Hopefully by then, you'll both be out of my attic. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? We're just gonna leave society. Okay. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. That's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. I don't know why there is just onions, but could be worse. A shovel. So this
Is to be our new office, yes.
Our office? I'd rather like the sound of that. Wait, why wait, no, okay, on the right there's another door. Does that door lead outside to like a staircase? But it's the attic. Why would you have that in your attic? Because there are stairs already that we panned past now. It's kind of confusing, but I suppose one day we will find out.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? He's just hanging upside down from the ceiling. Oh, he's got his other outfit. Hi.
Mr. Sholmes. Yes, thank you so much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. Oh my gosh, I don't remember her voice.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie, you can be in charge of the salad. Splendid. Wait, why are you still carrying around a gun? It's my salad gun.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital?
It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us.
Oh, those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is.
Sorry?
It has a terrible, terrible sewer system. Seriously, have you smelled the Thames? Anyway, London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows.
Why are you telling me this now? Shadows? What do you mean?
Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London.
Why are you being so ominous? Just tell me what you're talking about, please. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words that Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke, but it wasn't long before my turn came. To lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it.
The end. Alright.
I got an awarded.
I've been awarded an award. Sure, we'll get rid of this one. I don't know. What say we, oh, this is the last one. What say we take a look at the intro movie? And next time we will begin for real. The Hound of the Baskervilles. The unspeakable story. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick warm fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical Hound of the Baskervilles."
Well, we'll find out what the mystical Hound of the Baskervilles has for us next week. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. It's the likes, it's the subscribes, it's the comments. All of these things are nice. Honestly, I'm going to ask for this too, for this series, which is share it with a friend or somebody who likes Ace Attorney, because, I don't know, that'd just be nice, don't you think? That last case was pretty good. I am a little bit concerned that all of these have been contrivances so far. And by that I mean, there's been no real killer in any of these cases, other than arguably the first one. Which is okay. It's definitely different for Ace Attorney, but I feel like this final case, to have some impact, does have to have a real villain in it, you know? So we shall see. I imagine it will, but I don't know. So yeah, I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for doing all that stuff. You definitely did, like liking and commenting. I'm watching you, you know. I'm Herlock Sholmes. I will know if you liked the video. Oh, come on now. You can't leave it yet. You must do it. Okay, there you go. Now you can go watch me react to the Pokemon trailer. Alright, see you later.